And this month's Where Did the Road Go is sponsored by Super Inframan, Allison Cook, and Eric Hervin. Thank you all so very much for your incredible support.
Transmission start. Welcome to Where Did the Road Go? Join us as we wander off the path and explore lost history, consciousness, the paranormal, unexplained mysteries, alternative thought, and much more. We are present on the web at wheredidtheroadgo.com. Now here is your host, Seriah.
Welcome to this edition of Where Did the Road Go? Tonight I am joined by Red Pill Junky.
Los marcianos llegaron ya.
And Joshua
Llegaron
Cutchin.
bailando el ricacha.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
So Miguel sang, are you going to play some tuba now?
No. It's a famous, very old Mexican song about how the Martians finally came down.
Oh.
Dancing cha-cha.
well, yeah. The government has now announced that they're aliens and they're here and they're hostile and we're going to have to fight them.
Well, not exactly, but
Oh, was I at least close?
You see, go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I was just going to get this out of the gate. I didn't want to record any sort of follow-up to what we just did because I know that there has been an article in the New York Times about what's going to be coming out in this report. And I know that the immediate response to us saying, I told you so, is going to be like, well, it's not out yet. And while that's true, like, I know that's going to be the response. So I kind of didn't want to do this. I'm going on the record saying I didn't want to do this.
Well, we're not doing a whole show on it, but it's something we should comment on because we did do a show on it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we were really off on anything.
No, I think that if I remember correctly, what I think I said was I was expecting the report to say something over the effect of there's reasons to believe there's been incursions of maybe drones, maybe possibly operated by foreign adversaries, and therefore there's a need for more cooperations between different branches of government, strengthening capabilities, yada, 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 and maybe a few paragraphs saying, oh, by the way, and there are some of those cases remain unidentified, and we don't know what they are.
Right.
Which is pretty much what people should have expected. I mean, how could the government, how could any, organization, how could anyone categorically say, yeah, these are extraterrestrials coming from other planets? I mean, the only way you can do that is by, having sensors from here to Alpha Centauri,
right.
And determine, okay, yeah, this particular, spacecraft came from Alpha Centauri, so we now, know their provenance is interplanetary. Now, on the other hand, I think what other people were expecting to hear is that the government will have undisputable proof that these objects represent technology that is far beyond the capabilities of both of not only the United States but also other governments in the world. And for some reason, that is not the case. So maybe, and this is something that people like Chris Mellon or someone are trying to spin the New York Times article and say, well, maybe there's things that they're still remaining undisclosed. Maybe the task force didn't do such a good job, finding the information. But maybe this is the end result of the ambiguity that is so characteristic the UFO phenomenon, that is so vague, so elusive. I guess it's the word I'm trying to utilize, which leaves so much room open to uncertainty. And on the one hand, it's kind of comforting to see how the United States government has been humbled or humiliated once again by the UFO phenomenon by saying, yeah, we don't know what this is going on. And this is, I guess, what many of us were thinking that was the true reason behind the cover-up, right? It's not that these guys have, secret pacts with aliens and underground bases and all that jazz. It's that what they were really trying to hide is the fact that after 70 years, they still don't know what the F is going on.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, and it suggests that they aren't as powerful as a lot of us assume they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've also kind of seen that in the last couple of years when we've seen all these failures of things. Like it's become more and more apparent how incompetent the government really is.
Yeah.
The government is not run by super smart people who know everything. They're not like our, like a kid looks at their parents. They're just fallible people, and a lot of times not even the best people. They're the people who just want power.
Yeah. They're people who are following a career in government. I want to think that many have, call to service. Patriotic sentiments, a desire to serve their country, to be part of something bigger than they are, all of that. But then they're also the people who want to have, lives, careers, and after that, having a nice retirement and go about their lives, and if they encounter something so anti-structure as the UFO phenomenon, and is confronted with something that is by definition, very rigid, very bureaucratic, very structure prone, I guess most of those individuals will scratch their heads and say, well, I mean, as long as they're not invading, let's go about business. And just forget about it. And maybe, these things will leave us alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you don't want being in that view of, oh, we're all powerful, we're the government. You don't want to admit, oh, we don't know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, let's not admit how much we spent on this boondoggle of a project of trying to determine what these things are, just to turn around and say, yeah, we still don't know. Can we have more money?
Yeah, and also there's this idea that we don't know what they are, and maybe we could, try to establish some kind of international cooperation to see that maybe the whole world united to try to figure this out, but there is zero inclination to do so.
Yeah.
Even among the people who are not only convinced that the UFO phenomenon is real, but also they are utterly convinced, for whatever reason, that the United States government not only knows more about the UFOs phenomenon that they care to admit, but also that they also possess alleged physical materials,
right?
Of alien origin, let's call it. And like, for example, last weekend I participated in the SCU virtual conference. The SCU is this scientific coalition for the study of UAPs. They used to call them UFOs, but I guess they changed to the HEAP acronym to stay with the times. and the keynote speaker was Dr. Harold Putoff. who is a very controversial figure. We all know his relationship with Robert Bigelow, with NITS, the study of the Skinwalker Ranch, and before that with Seriah, and the remote viewing program. And after that, when he partnered with Tom DeLonge in the founding of the To the Stars Academy of Science. Okay, so this guy, we know for a fact that he believes that aliens are here, right? And we also know that he thinks, or he believes, maybe he cannot prove, that the government has something, whether a whole product or just like the I don't know, the wheel or the ashtray, something. They have something that maybe, probably, maybe, possibly, or perhaps came from a UFO, and somebody during the conference asked him, do you think that somebody has one or two craft stores somewhere? And he vaguely say, I cannot comment on that. But at the same time, when they ask him, hey, what do you think about this idea, and obviously we'll continue talking about this maybe further on, about that NASA or the head of NASA says that he is giving permission to their scientists to study UFOs. And he said, well, one of the things that NASA could do is some kind of project to store materials. So, okay, so you can't comment on that. On the other hand, you want NASA to analyze UFO fragments. So
right.
So another of the attendees asking, do you think it's time for to call the Russians and the Chinese and ask for their cooperation? And he said, I'm very reticent for that. I think it's a double-edged sword. International cooperation will be ideal, but it will have to be handled very carefully because we do not want to show them too much. So how can you possibly reach some kind of scientific breakthrough or understanding of what is possibly the most puzzling or confounding mystery in the history of humankind, when you don't want to show what you get? Show me. Want to show me yours first before I show you mine? There is no possibility of advancement if people are like saying, no, I'm gonna keep my cards close to the vest, but let me see if I can take a peek at your game, to see who's going to win.
And to me, NASA is interesting because there are definitely some weird things NASA has photographed, and they just dismiss it, And it's like, okay, no, that does not fit your explanation whatsoever. Why don't you just acknowledge you found something and you don't know what it is, And I think the problem is because you get all these people who are like, well, if they don't know what it is, it must be aliens.
Yep. I hate to sound really just jaded, but this all just starts to sound to me like noise. I've said a long time ago that, like, if you want to do a roundtable on MJ12 or Roswell, I'm not the person that you call because I don't know that much about these topics because they've been so contaminated and there's been so much back and forth. I think it was Tim Banal who said recently, trying to keep abreast of this UFO stuff right now is like a full-time job. And I'm at the point where, I said my piece and we saw the sort of preliminary release, which I think is very telling. It's kind of exactly what I said with, wouldn't it be interesting if what Obama said is basically what the report said? And that's kind of what it looks like from this first shot across the bow, at least.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to wait and see what happens.
Well, obviously we'll come back to it at some point. It'll be interesting to see when we do the next UFO history show in next February where everything is.
I do think it's interesting that the Times changed. Do you see this, Seriah? The Times changed the headline.